Good Friday evening, YouTube. This is Tired Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are having a good Friday and getting set to start the weekend. Of course, usually on Fridays, we have our weekend forecast. It's going to be another one of those. Not too much out of the ordinary here. I do want to say, even though, it's only 10 or 12 views, I appreciate that. It's a much better look than what I've been seeing the last few days on here. So I appreciate anyone that's been watching, anyone that's been liking as well. So please keep that up. Spread the word. If you know anyone that you think might like this kind of channel, we'll be doing more stuff in the coming days. I'm hoping soon to have a little intro theme. I've no guaranteed timeline on it yet, but things are underway. Without further ado, though, let's get into the forecast. We have a ongoing severe weather risk today. A few severe thunderstorm warnings here. Maybe a watch possible soon, according to the Storm Prediction Center. Mainly around Oklahoma. Nothing's really fired in this area just yet, though. I wouldn't be surprised if a watch pops up in the next, really, 45 minutes. Meanwhile, we have remnants of our line of last night's storms, or the storm system that spawned that line of severe weather in Illinois, Missouri, and Wisconsin, and continuing to progress east. Those are two slight risk areas for today. Then we have a small marginal risk area that's developed around the Gulf states, mainly around Louisiana and Mississippi. Includes a little bit of Arkansas as well. But that's our threat tonight. Tornado threat is basically minimal without it being zero. Just a small little 2% area around northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. Excuse me. Then we have the wind threat, which is a little bit higher, especially towards areas around the northern plains-ish, maybe the Missouri Valley, if you want to call it, or Missouri River Valley, if you will call it that. Hail threat favors more of the southern storm system towards Oklahoma. So we'll go to day 2. Things are kind of downtrended. We have several marginal risk areas, which is kind of crazy. We have one that's for the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes region. Areas like Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, Bowling Green, and Nashville, Jackson, just to name a few. Evansville, Indiana, you're also in there. Then we have another marginal area that includes Lincoln, Nebraska. Then another marginal area that includes Jackson once again. Lufkin, Louisiana. Well, not Lufkin, Louisiana. Excuse me. Lufkin, Texas it's Lufkin, Texas, but Lufkin's not involved. So apologies there. A little bit of a misread. But Alexandria, Louisiana, you are in this. Then our last area, last but not least, we have this little southernmost area. Same areas as we've been talking about for the last few weeks. Fort Stockton, Midland, Lubbock, Amarillo, and Woodward, Oklahoma. You guys are mainly in play for that. So tornado threat's going to be minimal. Wind and hail threat, almost minimal. Just a little bit, just a slightly higher wind threat. But that's all we got for Saturday. And then we have a day 3 slight risk for Sunday. This is a much bigger area, and this one is one that has piqued my interest a little bit more. I remember posting a video a little while back, about maybe 8 days ago, maybe a little bit less than that, about a long-range forecast about more severe weather being possible here towards the middle of the month. I think this is the event that I was looking at. But it's very widespread. The Mississippi River Valley, you guys are in play for this. Pretty much all of the Ohio Valley. And even getting into Tennessee, we have Nashville hanging just outside the slight risk. Bowling Green, Kentucky, you're in that slight risk. Pretty much all of Ohio. Shout out to my Springfield, Ohio folks. Pop side of the family. Then we have southern Indianapolis and southern Illinois in play. southern Missouri, all of Arkansas, and then easternmost parts of Oklahoma and Kansas. Since we're not within the 48-hour mark, we are not very certain what the hazard types are, but I'm going to take a sneak peek here quickly and look at what this synopsis might say. So this has a look of a nocturnal event potentially. And this mainly has a look of straight line damaging winds. I was thinking that would have been the main threat based off the look I saw in the long range forecast video I did a while back. I'll try to post a link of that in this video. Or I'll post it towards the end so that way you can get a look. But we're going to take a look at what the radar could look like over the next 60 hours. This won't look all the way into Sunday, but this will give you an idea of what's ahead. We'll look at that, and then we'll take a look at the temperatures. And then tomorrow we'll go a little bit more further in depth with the severe weather threat on Sunday. So we have a lot of convection going on. The Gulf of Mexico moisture is the Gulf of Mexico has opened up. Moisture available for pretty much anyone to the east of this low, pretty much. We're getting some pretty rich dew points almost all the way around, unless you're behind that line of storms right there. But once that cold front passes, those dew points will be right back up like nothing even happened. So active pattern continues. Move this further along. We're getting into Saturday morning. More storms pop up. More popcorn style thunderstorms, but it's a very interesting look that we got here. I don't think the kinematics are conducive to tornadoes. Definitely not. Look at that. That's not even a curve. It's not even anything linear. So that's no real threat to anyone, which is great. But later into the evening, I expect these storms to start to organize and get their act together. Going into Sunday, there could be a couple storms here that pulse severe in the early morning, in the late night hours. Move this along. This storm system doesn't really seem to hold together really well. It's kind of trended towards a high pressure, and higher pressure usually is associated with calmer weather, which is a good thing. So it may help keep some of that severe weather threat down. But then this little piece of energy here pops up in around Sunday afternoon, and then we're right back to square one. And we watch this unfold. Watch a big line of storms begin to pop up around the Arklatex and the Ozarks Valley. So by the Monday morning, this area looks like we'll see a little bit more thunderstorms, potentially some severe storms. Meanwhile, over towards the Great Lakes, there might be a couple storms that pulse severe. Meanwhile, we have another player coming into the Four Corners region, which will eventually reach the plains, which will be our next area of interest. All while in the meanwhile, it seems like we're finally starting to lose the snow here, even around the northwest. There's a little bit going on still, but it's definitely not like what it's been the last couple of weeks. I'm seeing a lot more rain on radar. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are snowed out at this point, especially around Idaho and Montana. Get a couple periods of snow, but nothing significant, nothing that you haven't dealt with already. In fact, if anything, it's lighter than what you've dealt with for a lot of this year so far. And then that's pretty much all we got here. We do have a low pressure that tries to keep popping up around the southwest. I'm hoping that we can just somehow get some moisture around this area, because we've had a lot of issues with wildfires, and I'd love to see that go away. So hopefully you guys are out here doing your rain dance, and I'm rooting for you. But now that we've looked at that, let's take a quick look at the temperatures. May take a quick look at the dew points, then we'll be on our way. For the most part, the south is going to pretty much remain warm all throughout the weekend. Wherever these lines of storms go, you will get some temporary relief, but just know that it will not last very long. So we're getting into Saturday during peak daytime hours. A lot of the southeast, you guys are going to be hitting the 80s. Around Florida, I'm expecting a few places to probably hit 90. And then around the Central Plains, we're hitting about 90. Some places could even be hitting the triple digits around South Central Texas. And then right around where our severe weather is, the temperatures are very much suitable for severe weather. So this is not surprise. So I do expect some pretty big storms wherever we end up getting them. Then around New Mexico, a lot of these wildfire areas, very, very hot. Very hot. 90s and more triple digits. Only place that really seems like they're still below average is around the Northwest. But even you guys too are starting to heat up a bit now. Right around Washington and Oregon, we're getting some temperatures around we're getting some 70s now. So at this point now, everybody's catching the heat. The whole country's starting to get into a little bit of a heat wave. So move this further along. The overnight we cool down, and then into Sunday afternoon, it's like we're back like we haven't left. You can see where our line of storms has developed around here, because right here you see the 70s and the 80s, and then right back here all of a sudden you see 60s and 50s. And then we watch this move further and further off to the east and south, and then into the overnight hours. That this front will cool things off for a lot of us here going into Monday morning. We'll take a quick look at the dew points. Like I said, we're going to expect to see a lot of waving, a lot of surges around this eastern area here, meaning pretty dry around here. So there is definitely going to be some critical fire weather outlooks around the southwest. And on the eastern half of the country, it's going to be muggy, oppressive, and for some of you, there's going to be chances for popcorn thunderstorms, as I like to call them. They pop up quick, die out quick, but you get a nice little bit of a show out of them, that's for sure. So we move this along, not that far. Move this along. Some 60s, some 70s popping up around Oklahoma and dew points. But unfortunately, around the western half of the country, it stays really dry. We even have some negative dew points, which is pretty insane. Looks like we're starting to get some kind of moisture popping up in the southwest, maybe towards the end. At least they're not negative, but it's not really helping a lot. I'm really looking for monsoon season for these guys. Can't come soon enough. During the mid to late summer, that's when these guys will start to get some heavy rain. But hopefully these wildfires will be long gone by then around here. Around the Midwest, around the Northwest, I should say, dew points are pretty low, but they're not awful. But we'll have to watch this area too real close. Pretty much anyone on the western half of the country, try to avoid burning if you can. Keep the wildfires down. I don't want to have to start quoting Smokey here, saying, only you can prevent forest fires. And only I can say that this is all I got for you guys tonight for this video. I will have another one up tomorrow. We'll even kind of start trying to discuss the rumblings of a tropical wave out in the Atlantic. I mean, hurricane season is right around the corner. Usually it starts on June 1st, but over the last 7 years, we've had storms pop up ahead of schedule. It wouldn't surprise me if this were no different, but it has a lot of things going against it, but we will go into detail with that. We will go into greater detail in the coming days with that. But until then, this has been Ty Metalhead Weatherman, and I will see you guys tomorrow.